Interesting. Let's head to the weekend in football. Sorry, midweek, by the way. First thing to note is Manchester City Arsenal or Arsenal Manchester City has been rescheduled. It's been postponed because Arsenal will be playing PSV in the Europa League on Thursday. So that game that was supposed to take place between Arsenal and Manchester City has been rescheduled. So those two teams, the number one and number two teams in the Premier League, won't be playing this midweek. So Arsenal don't fear. Arsenal won't be afraid that City will win and go top them. Well, at the end of the day, Arsenal have a 4-point lead over City. It's a beautiful time to be an Arsenal fan, by the way. But starting from tomorrow, Brighton will take on Nottingham Forest. Crystal Palace will go up against Wolverhampton Wanderers. Both games at 8:15 p.m. And then on Wednesday at 7:30 p.m., Southampton will travel to Bournemouth. Chelsea will travel to Brentford, while Liverpool will be at home to West Ham. Newcastle United, who were in very good form and could have won at Old Trafford, will be at home to Everton. While the big game of the midweek has to be Manchester United up against Tottenham Hotspur. And then on Thursday, Fulham will do battle with Aston Villa, and then Leicester City will be at home to Leeds United. Leeds United, who in my opinion were unlucky to not get a point against Arsenal at the weekend. They played the best football I've seen Leeds play in recent months. I saw them play that at the weekend. But guys, three games that we're going to quickly touch on: Manchester United and Tottenham Hotspur. Quickly, guys.
So Man United Spurs, I think this has the making of a very, very good game. I think Liverpool, Man City, was probably seen as a bigger game than this one. But I actually look at these two teams, as two teams that are quietly, trying to find their identity. Man United are trying to find their identity, with Ronaldo, without Ronaldo, with Casemiro. Spurs are trying to find their identity, whether they want to be a free-flowing team or they want to be conservative, and have a very rigid structure. And right now, they are not very pleasing at the eye, Spurs. But they could argue, listen, we're getting the job done, So
and they'll tell you, and they can tell you that's what matters.
Exactly. That's what matters. We're getting the 3 points. We're moving on. And you see Conte, the way he celebrates, like every time that they score a goal, like you think that he's like celebrating out of relief. Like sometimes when they score a goal and the manager is happy, but sometimes his own feels like he's actually relieved that they're actually scoring a goal because of the way that they play. So this game, I can see a draw all over it. Man United, Spurs, I can see a draw all over it. So I'm going to go, for a 1-1 draw in this game.
Tottenham Hotspur, I won't be shocked actually if Spurs nick this one. And the reason is simple. Manchester United, for all the good they do, sometimes I think they flatter to deceive. You look at the way Newcastle played them totally. They still have the problem of deciding or finding who they play in midfield. Today is McTominay, tomorrow is Fred, after is Casemiro, and so they can't really decide on who to play behind Bruno and Ericsson. So they can't decide who to play.
Form.
Bruno has lost form totally, and I think it should drop. Let Ericsson go into that playmaking role right behind the strikers. And I feel play Casemiro and Fred or Casemiro and McTominay for mobility, for mobility purposes, play McTominay in that part. And I think you have a solid side in the middle. But then, what do I know? Eric Ten Hag is there. But Casemiro is coming to the side. And I think Casemiro is slow. I think Casemiro is not as quick as he looked in the La Liga. And yes, he can find you those short and long passes, but I think they need more than what Casemiro brings into the side. Maybe that's why they were all bent on getting Frankie de Jong to come to the side. But then Ronaldo, Eddie, you and I talked about Ronaldo at the weekend and talked about playing him in the absence of Martial. I think I'll send him back to the bench after what I saw against Newcastle. Festus.
I've always said this. I remember the last time we spoke about Eddie made it. Eddie made it the headline. Ronaldo, not blah 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 face. And when he said it, when I forwarded it to most of my guys, they went through it. They said, "Face, how can you say that some of the guys that love Ronaldo, they all attacked me and stuff?" And I was laughing. See, clearly, Ronaldo is a great player. He's a legend. Kudos to him, and we'll always give him that respect. But see, you can't cheat age. You can't cheat your body. Ronaldo shouldn't be starting Man U games, and I've said it. Ronaldo should be coming in now as an impact player. You know, with the experience, he reads the game from the bench. Remember those days of how this guy used to use Kanu Akwa, the national team. He sits with the bench. He's like the second coach. And when he's going in, he already knows what
to do.
He already knows how the game is going and what he's bringing in. So that is what Ronaldo should be doing at this point in time. Not starting the game. He doesn't have the energy for it.
Ronaldo are you telling me that Ronaldo is not as good as Ibrahimovic?
Ronaldo does not have the physicality of Ibrahimovic.
No,
we got to understand that. Ibrahimovic is what do you call is Scandinavian. Those guys are strong. Those guys have energy to burn.
And apart from that, Kylie, Ibrahimovic also is, he is judo, karate. He takes care of himself. So you can't equate him with a normal person.
Ronaldo that takes care of himself.
No, he does. You're comparing two people now. We're talking about two. In terms of that age, you can't compare those two guys. In terms of age, not good, not who has more skill. I'm not talking of now the physicality.
That's what we're talking about. And that's what Ronaldo lacks right now.
Ronaldo shouldn't be playing 90 minutes. Ronaldo should be coming in 10, 15 minutes.
And
that's what I think. 20 minutes.
I disagree.
Festus and Eddie, look at Ronaldo during the UEFA Nations, whatever that he played.
Yeah.
He was the scapegoat. Everybody, even some Portuguese fans, were like, no, he shouldn't start anymore. Ronaldo is beginning to look ordinary on the field. And this is that time where he needs to manage, because it's his body and he's aging and it's catching up. It's catching up with him. There's no need to play 90 minutes anymore. You are Ronaldo. You can come in 25 minutes to the end of the game and change the look of the game.
Exactly.
You can come in 20 minutes and you still maintain that your status as Ronaldo.
I think after Man U, Ronaldo should move to end his career with a Benfica or go back home.
He will never play for Benfica.
Give the Portuguese. No, I don't know where. I think it's Benfica
Porto.
or FC
No,
Porto.
It's Porto.
Yeah, go back to Porto. Give the fans where you started.
It was actually Sporting Lisbon that they came from.
Sorry, Sporting Lisbon. Forgive me.
Go back to that club. Give them 1 year and do whatever you need to do and resign and keep your legendary status. Because the moment you keep playing Europa and keep doing this, people start looking at him ordinarily and people start talking trash about him. And he's
especially when Messi is in a slower league and is still scoring free kicks and whatever.
We will continue this conversation.
So your prediction, Festus: Manchester United, Tottenham Hotspur.
I see this whole match. I see a whole lot of draw on it. To be scored, draw across the line.
I think Spurs will win it.
I don't get for a 1
Assad. I don't know the scoreline, but I feel like
do you know something that has been Spurs is still not playing well? I hope you know.
They are not playing well, but they are picking the points.
Yes, they are
away from home. If you look at their results, they don't score more than 1 goal in the last 3 games. That's why I've gone for a 1-1 scoreline. I think Spurs will go there not to lose.
Spurs will go not to lose. Man U will not lose also. Man U will not lose this match.
Okay, so you're predicting a draw.
I see.
All right, I say narrow victory for Spurs in this one.
Okay.
All right, let's move away from that. Another game I want us to look at is Newcastle United Everton. Everton faltering on their part, but Newcastle United. Eddie, remember how we talked about Eddie Howe and what is quietly building at Newcastle? And I just loved what I saw against Manchester United. They could have won that game, especially when Joelinton, headed the ball at the woodwork twice in quick succession, and they had all other chances to nick that game. But Martinez had a brilliant game, by the way. I will give Martinez that. The way he reads the game, the way he runs into space. But guys, I'm looking at a new.
Wow.
Wow. Okay. Okay. So first of all, Everton have been very unlucky. I mean, you need to watch. You need to watch their games, to know that they've been very, very unlucky. And I just feel that, they just need to be a little bit more clinical in front of goal, because everything up until the final third, I can't question it. Their approach play is very good. Onana is playing very well in that middle of the park. Iwobi is also playing very well in that middle of the park, as well. So I think that the results are going to come. The performances have not been bad. And in the Premier League, if the performances are good, eventually the results are going to catch up. It's when you start, having bad performances, you're nicking results, then you're like, one day it's going to really come back to bite you in the bum. But of course, Newcastle right now, best defense in the league. They've only considered 9 goals.
They're stingy. They're
So
stingy.
that this has the opportunity of ending either in a draw, or a close Newcastle victory. My only reason why I might just favor Newcastle in this game is just because of how unlucky Everton has been in the last couple of games. But I would not be shocked if Everton actually pull a result, because they are due one. Now, you could say that this is away from home and they might struggle at Newcastle. That's another reason to edge Newcastle to win. So I'm going to go with a 2-1 victory to Newcastle. But I won't be surprised if...
You have to come back. You have to come back.
After all
all right, Festus.
Well, for me, there's only one way to this. There's only one straight way to this match.
and that's
a Newcastle victory. And do you know why it's a clear, non-debatable conclusion? Everton is playing well, I agree. The midfield has been fantastic. Onana with a combination of Iwobi and Co. But they are lacking scorers, Kali. They play well, they do well. They are not getting Calvin Lewis and the other guys, they are not doing well. They are not in form. I don't think any of their strikers have scored more than 2 goals this season. So clearly this is where they are lacking. So when you do, most times the midfielders have to score, and it's not acceptable for any team, especially when you want to get your results. So you end up playing well. Maybe at the end of the day, you see yourself pulling a draw, but not in this case, because the overwhelming firepower in Newcastle, I don't see them drawing this game. Clearly, is a whole lot of victory. I see like a 2-0 for this match.
Okay, finally, this one straight up predictions, no whatever. But before we move to that, Newcastle United in the last 5 meetings with Everton, home and away, they've won 3, drawn 1, and only lost once to Everton in the last 5 meetings. So it's a tie they love to play. Our final predictions for the midweek has to be I was caught in 2 minds, but definitely we have to do this one. Leeds United were very unlucky. Leicester City misfiring. Leicester City, Leeds United, guys. I think it's going to end in a draw.
I'm going to go for a Leeds victory. In this game, Leicester are just out of sorts, so I'm going to go for a 3-1 victory to Leeds.
All right, Festus.
For me, I will shock you guys by going for a Leicester victory. They have this way of surprising us when we least expect. And
They need
Leeds
to
here, they
surprise.
were
They
fantastic.
need to surprise. They need to surprise themselves first.
Yeah, they will surprise everybody this time around. I think the Leeds expected so much energy against us now, and I think it will bite them on the way. They're going to be a bit fatigued, and especially when the match is coming in quick succession. I see Leicester taking this, maybe 1-0.